hi. Thanks for joining Justice Radio today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, so look, Matt, I say and welcome to the land down, and I can hear there's a British accent in the background. Where are you from?
Yes, I'm from the Lake Districts.
Whereabouts is that exactly?
That's on the borders between England and Scotland.
Oh.
So we're Scottish and English.
So I want to dive straight in and ask you about why, something like Justice Radio, do you think is important for society? Is there a particular area, I suppose, it's of importance from your perspective?
I think because it gives out the message to a lot of people. Like in my days, we didn't have anything like that. So when I was abused and when to Farnham Art College, there was a lot of abuse there, and that's with a lot of professional people. We had lawyers, bankers, doctors, and they all used their words. We were very good at putting makeup on and how to hide it. And in those days, it was if your husband beat you, it was your fault. You irritated him. There was something there in the marriage. The woman always took the blame.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we had to quieten down on everything. So it wasn't easy. And it was like the men always get away with so much. And it was very, very hard for us.
Yeah.
So when you talk about justice, I think now it's opening up now. Justice is opening up. When will we get justice? We will, as long as we fight for it. That's what we have to do.
That is a very difficult, I suppose, quite a challenging area when you think about it, especially from those who have had it in an era where it was, like you say, you just buried it under the carpet or it just didn't get talked about. And how does one ever, even though things change potentially in society, like we've just heard that the Queensland has just announced coercive control laws are being passed and change is happening. But whilst change might happen going into the future, how does that really support or help somebody who in the past may have been wronged and gone through things like you say? And firstly, thank you for sharing that you've been through this yourself personally. But how do you find that for yourself, being able to find justice within while all this is happening?
I think for myself, personally I just somehow said, enough's enough. I just got up and walked away. I left everything. Didn't have two halfpennies rubbed together. I just walked away. And that was it. Luckily, I did have a little support to work in a hotel and carry on and move on. I looked at shelters where women with their children being battered. There was not much help for them in those days. And it was hard. So it was something that we had to sort of take on ourselves and move forward. And it was very hard in those days. We do have a lot more support now with organisations coming along and saying, this is what's happening. And I can see that compared to what we had. But we had little groups try to help us, but we had a lot of the authorities to cut us down. So because we're still within that domain where women are put down, men are the hierarchy, and that's it. So it doesn't matter how intelligent you are, you're still down there.
Mm-hmm. If you, given what you know, having gone through that, it's very unpredictable even today with all the resources that we have about, who may be dealing with that right now. Is there anything, I suppose, from your wisdom that you would share, I suppose, as a message to any woman who may be in a position where she's a little bit struggling and doesn't know what to do? What would you share with her?
I would say that go and get help.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the organisations. They can help you. When you say, oh, he hit me, and it was the first time. It's not the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be the second or third. It's always going to go on. But once that happens, you've got to make that decision. And for yourself or your children to get out. And you do need the help and the support. Luckily, I didn't have children, but in my days it was very hard. And I lived in a society where we had doctors, lawyers, judges, things like that. And you really had to keep your mouth closed.
Yeah, that I can't even begin to imagine, to be honest. So I really, I thank you so much for being able to share openly about that. And I don't almost lost for words, really. But what I hear you saying, Pat, is that there is an opportunity potentially to listen to that inner voice of trusting yourself. Just don't question it. Trust yourself.
Just go ahead with it.
Yes.
When you feel it, you've got to get out. You get out. You move on.
Yes.
Never feel guilty. Never, because you have that strength. You can do it.
Oh.
And there is a lot of support now. And that's the way we can move forward, is through organizations and support for people and women to get together to support each other.
Yes.
And it's not just here, but all over the world.
Yes.
We can do it.
Yeah. It's much easier when you have support, right?
When you have support, when you've got that feeling, because I didn't have that support. We had to get out on our own. And there's a lot of people I've known. I had 2 good friends of mine were murdered by their husbands. So, they couldn't get out. And in a way, that gave me strength to get out.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a delightful evening.
Yes.
And really treat yourself.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.